What's happening? What's happening, folks? What's up? It's your boy OMD, and that stands for Old Man Dex, Dexter Davis, aka Doc Savage, the man of bronze, and welcome to the Corner Store Podcast, episode 127. It is October the 18th, 2024. It is a Friday, and all is not good in the neighborhood. Let me explain what I mean by that. I have coined a phrase that I've been using lately to describe a lot of the things that are going on, not only in the U.S., but all across the world. I'm actually trademarking this phrase, and I'm going to be trying to put it on T-shirts. Insanity is contagious. It most certainly is. And what I mean by insanity is contagious is that it seems like everyone, and I mean everyone, in the U.S., across the world and abroad, have completely lost their minds. Yes, lost their minds. I see it every day. Just last night in my neighborhood, one of the semi-safest neighborhoods in the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles, California, there was a manhunt for a guy who stabbed a woman near the grocery store near my house. And they were looking for him. There's been assaults and all types of crimes that have been going on in this quaint, quiet section of the San Fernando Valley. Let me be very, very clear to you guys, to everybody who's on the live. Thank you for those who made it on the live. And remember to subscribe, like, and also leave comments to Corner Store Television content on YouTube. The saddest things I've noticed, crime is on the rise, and it has nothing to do with who's going to be president. It has nothing to do with the BS politics that you've been hearing, the rhetoric that's going back and forth. It has everything to do with people are suffering. Therefore, the pressure is building like the steam in a tea kettle, and it's ready to whistle. The only way, and I repeat, the only way we can put a cap on the sanity bottle that has been starting to pop open is we need to take care of the people that are most important, which is the citizens of every country all around the world. There was an attempted coup on the Venezuelan president, and it's come to pass, and this is all alleged, it's come to pass that Elon Musk paid $2 billion to help in that assisted coup. And if you don't know what a coup is, a coup is where a country or countries that are outside of that said country, other leaders outside of that country who want that country, which is a smaller country, obviously, to do their bidding, whether it be give us the oil, let us come into your country for your natural resources, or whatever that cause may be from the outside influences of said country they're trying to overthrow. That's what they're trying to do. They tried to kill the leader of that country to replace him with a puppet that they would have paid off and bought to run that country. Or if they have a system similar to the United States, where they have a president and a vice president, they overthrow that president and tell the vice president, look, by putting pressure on him or her, this could happen to you as well if you don't do our bidding. As I said before, insanity is contagious. Lately, there have been road rage incidences all over the state of California, which have led to people being summarily shot and killed on our freeways all over California. Here recently on the 5 freeway in Los Angeles, there was a shooting between 2 road ragers. One was in an SUV, one was in a Cadillac, which left the occupants of the Cadillac killed or severely injured. That left drivers on the 5 freeway, due to the investigation of the killing and the shooting, stranded for 8.5 hours. I would have been fucking furious. Now, you can't tell me. What's up, Black Truffle? Julius, my man Julius Frierson from Black Truffle TV and the Real Quick Though podcast has just joined us on the live. What's happening, my brother? Craziness is happening all over the place. Insanity is running rampant in the world and in the U.S. Some of these leaders in African countries have taken notice of this and seem to blame it on the looseness and the openness of the Western countries, such as America, in regards to sexuality, in regards to not having spirituality and things of that nature. A lot of the African countries don't want Western influences, whether they be from Black people who are coming from the United States to live abroad in the country that we are in, the continent with several countries in it that we truly hail from. Another thing that has arisen during this wild political spectrum that we've been going through with presidential candidate Kamala Harris and also former President Donald J. Trump. Recently, Barack Obama, former president of 8 years, a 2-term president, a Black president, came out to chastise and shame 13% of the population in this country, or 14%. I actually think it's the percentage is larger than that. I don't see how you could gauge that by so-called having a census and trying to count people. You're just not going to be able to count everybody. But 13% of the population in the United States is Black. And he decided to shame the 9%, which are men, Black men, into voting for Kamala Harris. If we don't vote for Kamala Harris, something is wrong with us, he said. We're voting against our own interests. I remember a time in the United States of America where your vote was sacred, meaning you told no one who you were voting for. If you went to a rally and you happened to be there for a specific candidate, people kind of gauged whether you were voting for that person by you being there. But back in the day, voting was a sacred thing. You didn't tell nobody. If someone asked you, oh, I'm not going to tell you who I vote for, because you didn't want people to know back in the day what side of the fence you lived on. And that really, truly made sense. But in today's climate, where insanity is contagious, everyone wants you to know who they're voting for and why. So much so that they're willing to pull a gun on you or absolutely hurt you in some physical way to let you know what side of the fence they stayed on. Insanity is running rampant, and I don't see it getting any better. I'm not a fear mongerer. I'm all for change. I'm all for people being able to buy a home and having their own piece of this pie that they so-called threw at us for decades, saying the American dream can be yours if you work hard, if you toil, and if you save, and if you invest in yourself and your family. That's what they said. Do you believe it's all a lie? Do you believe that this dream that they've been selling us for the last, well, at least as long as I've been alive? I'm 58 years old and I was born in 1966. So that means I'm a baby boomer. That means I grew up in a time when we didn't see all of the craziness we're seeing right now. There was always nutty shit going on. Believe me, there's always been nutty shit going on in the world, but not at such a high volume as it is today. Everybody has lost their freaking minds. Everybody has lost their freaking minds. And that doesn't exclude me. I know I've been affected by it. I can't drive anywhere without being frustrated about how people are driving on these freeways and roads. I've gone so far as to start leaving. If I have to be somewhere, let's say 7 a.m., I'm leaving the house at 4:35 in the morning just to be able to get there without trouble. And even still doing that, I happen to find people that are on the road at that time in the morning who are either going too slow, too fast, or doing something crazy on the road that just blows my mind. We're the only ones out here. Why are you doing this? I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know if it's something they're spraying on us. There's a lot of, I don't even know what to call this. There's a lot of rumors are going around that the American people have been sprayed and they put something in the air. How would you know if you're totally and unequivocally asleep in the middle of the night and they're flying around up there in planes spraying some kind of chemical on you? There's a video that I have that was on TikTok, and I know they're trying to ban TikTok so hard. They actually said that they want to ban TikTok and get it out of here or completely get rid of it, or that force the Taiwanese and not Chinese, they keep saying it's a Chinese company, the owner is from Taiwan, to force the Taiwanese owner of TikTok to sell that company, sell TikTok to an American CEO or to an American owner. You know why they're doing that, right? So they could control the narratives of the videos on TikTok, to ban the videos and the people who are telling the truth about history, telling the truth about our economy, and also spreading the truth about politics and entertainers. It's absolutely a travesty where money and power rules the day. If you don't have it, chances are you're living under somebody's thumb. Now, I know for a fact there's people out there who get up every day and go to work and they love their job. Their boss happens to be a wonderful person. And that part of your life is absolutely amazing. But I know for a fact that there's other things that you deal with every day, whether it's neighbors or something is out there bothering you. Maybe it's not enough to really make you go, man, dang, I need to make a change, or I need to move away, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. Maybe it's not affecting you in that way. But from what I can tell by driving around every day, going to the stores and buying what I need from a retail store or a grocery store, you can see it in people's faces. They're troubled, they're saddened, and the biggest thing is they're fucking angry. Hey, the term that I have beckoned in the last couple of months is insanity is contagious. And I'm going to tell you right now, it absolutely is. I'm going to go to some sound bites right now of some things that have been going on, in the United States and as well as abroad. These things are really bothering me. So here's some sound about Iran and the imminent ballistic missile attacks on Israel, which could bring about World War III.
We have breaking news that a senior White House official and a Defense Department official have told NBC News that the U.S., quote, has indications that Iran is preparing to imminently launch a ballistic missile attack against Israel. I'm going to read you the rest of the statement here. They say, we are actively supporting defensive preparations to defend Israel against this attack. A direct military attack from Iran against Israel will carry severe consequences for Iran. Now, I do want to note too that administration officials have been anticipating this sort of response from Iran. They say that the country has been postured to move quickly if it wants, but that the Iranians say they still do not want a wider war. So that's the latest from the White House. Yields have moved lower on this. Treasury yield hit a session low of about 3.57 just after these reports.
Now, that's intriguing for a lot of reasons. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you on my device here where I played that sound. Look at the video. I'm going to get it as close as I possibly can. If you notice, while she's talking about that, they're showing you the market reports in business. That's what this is really all about. It's about money. Israel is a state that was created by the people who really and truly run this country. Forget about who you're seeing running for president and all that bickering and back and forth and all these people that are going to rallies for both sides. All of those people have been fucking duped. It's all bullshit to divert your attention from what's really going on around the world. Imminent danger. And as I stated before, insanity is contagious. You have to be able to see things for what they truly are, see things for how they really are, and see things that are about to come to pass. Iraq readying imminent ballistic missile attacks on Israel. Ask yourself, and Israel would say, oh, it's just because we're more civilized. We're civilized, and all of these countries that are against us are barbaric, and they kill kids. And no, Israel, you have done that. You have controlled that part of the world, that region. So much so that it has pissed off every surrounding country around you, from Yemen to Lebanon to which is Beirut City in Lebanon, to Iran, Iraq. They basically tried to wipe Iraq off of the map. And they brought that country to its knees in war and in economics. Ask yourself why. Listen to this.
Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got 1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy right now.
That's what we're dealing with in the United States of America. That is what's going on. Insanity is contagious. And I mean that from the core of my being. It's something that I coined, this term I coined recently because in the last 2 to 3 years, actually in the last decade, we've been going down this path. We've been going down this path to where everyone, and I mean everyone, has lost their fucking minds. Listen to this.
This Israeli government has killed more children, more journalists, more aid workers, and more medical personnel than any other war in recent memory. In the absence of global accountability, repeated horrors are normalized, threatening to create a future where anything is permitted anywhere in the world. Those who continue to propagate the idea of Jordan as an alternative homeland. So let me be very, very clear. That will never happen. We will never accept the forced displacement of Palestinians, which is a war crime.
That is an absolute travesty of justice. To where a group of soulless people, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Not all Jewish people are full of shit like this. And there are some Jewish people who are absolutely and utterly ashamed at what Israel has done over the last 50 years. First off, you went into a country and displaced all those people. You had a small section of that country, said country. And before you know it, You had pushed the actual people who existed in that land for thousands of years before you into a small area near the West Bank. Near the West Bank. They had them all up, pressed up. They have walls to guard these people off, checkpoints all over the town. If you're Palestinian, you can't even move around in that area. Now, they're actually exterminating these people. As I stated before, every country in that region rejects the way Israel handles their business because they're terrible, terrible people. These people are about money. They always have been. They always will be. And this is not anti-Semitic, what I'm saying. I want the Israeli people to feel like they have the Jewish community to feel like they have a homeland. Ask yourself this question. If you're a Jewish person in the United States, what are you doing here if you have a country of your own? Now, there's a lot of people from other countries that live in America and they prosper here. They come from Russia. They come from European countries, Germany, Netherlands, France, Italy. They come from all over the world to come here and make their fortunes and take that money back to their country, have dual citizenship and the whole thing. Israel was given that land. Israel has raised up that land to be what it is today. But let me tell you something. Israel is America. This country is really ran secretly by the Jewish community. Or let me put it to you this way, the Jewish money, Jewish power, Jewish influence. The Federal Reserve was created by Jewish influence. It's not even a real federal entity. Once again, this is not an anti-Semitic thing. I'm not talking about them in a negative way. Your people, Jewish people, have been fooled into believing they're better than everyone else in every way. And that's the reason why they talk the way they do about how they treat Palestinians and any other group. That's facts. There's no disputing that. Countries all over the Middle East, from Jordan, Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, all of the surrounding countries. The reason why there's a Hezbollah, there's the reason why they have all the terrorist organizations there aiming their rockets, suicide bombers, or militants at Israel. Ask yourself why. Israel will tell you it's because they hate us. They hate you because you brought the hatred to them. You brought the racial profiling to them. You brought looking down on them to them. They didn't bring that to you. Israel's no bigger than the damn state of Nebraska or Oregon. And they try to control that whole area through force. And the only reason they're able to do this is with the help of the United States. You got to ask yourself why that is. Why is the United States tied to the hip to Israel? It has to be about money. It has to be. There's been atrocity after atrocity after atrocity committed by the Israeli government. And as I stated before, which this whole podcast, episode 127, here on October the 18th, 2024, is about, insanity is contagious.
This is Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and this is his girlfriend. He's 61 years old. She's 19 years old.
Let me stop that. Anthony Kiedis is the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, 61 years old. He's 3 years older than me. His girlfriend is 19 years old. What? Continue.
I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I've gone to 2 of their concerts. I personally think they're one of the best bands of all time. I did not know that he had a history with having inappropriate relationships with very young girls, one as young as 14. I didn't know. I saw this on TikTok last night and I couldn't believe it. I actually felt very disturbed by it because Hollywood gets a hall pass. And here's the thing, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I went to Sunday brunch with my daughter last week and I wanted to do the bottomless mimosas with my daughter. She's 20 years old. She was not allowed to have a mimosa with her mother because the drinking limit, age limit, is 21. She's not mature enough to have alcohol. They raised the limit to 21 for smoking cigarettes too, right? Because we know that they're too young and it's dangerous. So they raised it to 21 because they know that 18 is still very, very young and immature. But yet an 18-year-old can do pornography. An 18-year-old can do OnlyFans. An 18-year-old can be a stripper. An 18-year-old can be in a sexual relationship with a 61-year-old man that chooses to be with a child for a reason.
Insanity is contagious. Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense that a 61-year-old man would be in a relationship openly out in the public holding hands with a 19-year-old girl. But just as this woman said, and I thank you and I applaud you for making the video, ma'am, her daughter, who is 20 years old, couldn't even have a mimosa at brunch with her because the legal age limit for drinking is 21. But yet, all you got to be is 18 to do pornography. All you have to do is be 18 to have an OnlyFans, I don't know what they call them, OnlyFans content. Everything is ass backwards. You only need to be 18 to go to the military and fight for this country and die for this country. The Vietnam killed more young men than syphilis. World War II saw the lives of children 17, 16 years old who thought it was very important for them to fight for the United States when the Japanese attacked. And the world was in an uproar in war with the Germans and the Japanese and the Italians, who eventually turned to our side. The Italians, a lot of people don't remember this, in World War II, the Italians were down with Germany. Mussolini was the leader of Germany, of Italy at the time, and he was involved in the planning of World War II with Hitler. But Hitler turned on him and took over Italy. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And as I stated, my show is consistent in stating that insanity is absolutely contagious in the United States of America. Insanity is running rampant. People are more concerned about a so-called fixed election. If one of the most insane people, I never knew Donald Trump as much as we know him now. We've seen him on TV with The Apprentice. We've seen him on doing movie bits. We've known him to have a helicopter with his name on it. How many billionaires? Ask yourself this question. This is a great question. How many other billionaires do you see with their name on their helicopter. That says a whole lot about you when you have to promote yourself in this fashion. Bloomberg is a billionaire. The only reason why we even know about him is because he had a network, the Bloomberg network on cable. And it's a network about business. Rupert Murdoch, we only know about him because he bought one of the largest TV networks in the world, Fox. Most of the billionaires that we know of pretty much are anonymous. But Donald Trump has always been one who wanted to promote himself. You know why? The man's never had the money he said he's had. Insanity is contagious. The only reason Donald Trump ran for, and I quote, he was pissed off at Barack Obama when he made jokes about him at the political correspondence dinner, which they have every year. And that's something that they've always done for years and years, is made fun of politicians, former presidents, right in their face. And they're supposed to be able to take it on the chin and laugh it off. But this man's pride, this gutless wonder's pride, couldn't take the jokes that were made about him to where he proclaimed that he would run for president and win. It's also come out about the mentor of Donald Trump, some gentleman named Cohen, who was a New York attorney who came up with the strategies of always denying everything and blaming everyone else outside yourself. Even if you know you were guilty, never admit the truth. Donald Trump fell in love with this man's ideology and summarily asked him to become his personal attorney. Just like somebody with psychological issues like Mr. Cohen, we ended up finding out that this man was a closeted homosexual that used to wear women's clothes. Sound familiar? J. Edgar Hoover, the man who was the leader of the Federal Bureau of Investigations for over 30 some odd years, turned out to be a transvestite. He hated Martin Luther King with a passion. He subverted Martin Luther King at every turn. And some even believe that he was very instrumental in having Martin Luther King killed on that balcony in that Memphis hotel. Insanity is contagious. We live in a world where you can call people all sorts of names, talk about their sexuality, say that interracial marriage is immoral, call out homosexuals to be deviants. Yet those same people who do all of this talking about people are the ones who have closeted bullshit going on every single time. My mother used to coin a phrase when I was growing up. It was called "a big dog will holler." And let me explain what that means. That means most people who are the loudest critics of something, whether it be homosexuality, whether have people having porn fetishes and all that, those are the people who truly are having that problem. Because really, it's a cry for help. They're calling out everybody else when in actuality, they're at home looking in the mirror going, you ain't nothing but a deviant piece of shit. But it's all hidden. They don't want you to know who they really and truly are. It's a very narcissistic type of behavior. Insanity is contagious. It absolutely is. The fact of the matter is, my friends, the most important thing we need to realize is spirituality is not a part of the norm. You hear all kind of people, from the pastors who would ask you for money instead of asking for your commitment to God so you can have your soul and salvation and one day maybe go to heaven. They'd ask you for some money first. Excuse me. It's a sad state of affairs when you can't even go to church now and worship God and they're in there trying to pick your pockets. Most people who go to church are poor as the day is long, and they're going for some peace of mind. They're going to have their soul quenched, and they're thirsty for some type of help. They're thirsty for the praise of God. They're thirsty for the blessings from God, and you're reaching in their pockets. It's absolutely ridiculous. We live in time. And if you are a believer in something higher than yourself, and you do, read the Bible and Revelations, they speak of a time that we live in now. And I know one thing about my podcast, I talk about God because he leads the way in my life. Everything I have, everything I will have. And I didn't always believe this. I'm a Southern born guy who grew up in Los Angeles. So I consider myself Southern born, West Coast raised. That ain't necessarily a great thing, being raised in a big city like Los Angeles. But thank God I didn't lose my way and become a deviant, become a killer. Yeah, I ran with some pretty shady people. I've done some dirt in my life, things I'm not proud of. But one thing I can say is I hold my head up high and say that I didn't murder anybody. I may have wanted to, and I ain't perfect at all, not even close. I'm so far from perfect, you can consider perfect another fucking galaxy away from me. But at least I know one thing. I can hold my head up high and look myself in the mirror and say, not only that I try hard, but I love God with my whole heart. And I want him to take care of me and my family and keep continually blessing us with different things that we can try to achieve. Speaking of that, I have great news. I don't know if he want me to tell you this, but my only son is now in the United States Navy. He'll be leaving next month and he'll be serving. I know a country who probably doesn't love him. I know a country who probably, if he passed away in the military, probably wouldn't even want to pay the percentage to take care of him. But he's decided to do that, not for me, not for his mom, and hopefully, I say hopefully because I know, just like Rambo said in Rambo 2, all we've ever wanted is for this country to love us as much as we love it. That statement right there is so profound and so amazing that I have to applaud Sylvester Stallone. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. I have to applaud Sylvester Stallone for being able to articulate that in that movie in that fashion. My son is doing this to benefit his life, to grow more, not only as a black man, but just truly as a man in the United States of America. There's only a few things this country seems to respect. One of them, semi-respect in this regard. One of them is being a military person, an honorable military person. And the other is money. So I've always suggested this, and I'll suggest it now. Forget about the stuff you think you want to do politically. Cast your vote, do whatever you want to do. If you want to vote, you want to do all that, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to. But the most important thing is find your niche. I say this every episode, and I'm going to continue to say this until I leave this planet. Find your niche. Make your money. Become as powerful as you possibly can financially. That way, you can make policy for your damn self. Continue, if you already are, continue to love God and keep him abreast of everything you're trying to do. Don't be subverted by the bullshit that you see every day, or don't be, how should I put this, involved in the contamination of the insanity virus that's going on in the United States. Last but not least, there was a film that came out. Timothy Oliphant is one of the lead actors that was in this movie. And it was called The Crazies. I don't know if you ever seen this. It's called The Crazies. All of a sudden, people just started to lose their fucking minds. One of the most profound scenes in that movie where There was a baseball game going on, and Timothy Oliphant played the sheriff in that town. And everybody noticed this man walking onto the baseball field with a shotgun. They knew him as one of their neighbors, somebody that they knew. They actually walked up to him. He was bleeding from his nose and ears profusely, and he had a crazy look on his face. I only bring that story up or that scene from the movie up, to say in that film, the premise of that film is that something was being sprayed on this town. I'm not saying that's happening to us, but I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask the people on this pod, I'm going to ask the people, if you see this pod, ask yourself a question. Have you been noticing the change in the atmosphere of how people have been acting? And ask yourself why that is. And we're talking everybody. I think there's one more sound bite that I want to play, and I want to see if I still have that. I'm going to go down and see.
The Bible was created for the sole purpose of enslaving humanity. The author of the Bible is in the title. It is Bible. I'm going to read you a couple verses that prove
This video is really deep. This video is really deep. I actually want to say this for another podcast, but I'll just say this, and I'll leave it at that. We're under attack physically in the world and mentally in the world, and we are under attack spiritually. The only way you can combat all the aspects of what's been going on against regular people is to bust your ass and work hard in whatever you're trying to do and become a success. If you're building a business, shout out to a friend of mine, Inman. I think her name is Inman. She's got a Inman by Beauty products coming out. This is a young African-American girl in her early 30s who started her own online beauty line and is starting to take off. Shout out to her. Do that. Do what she's doing. Find out what you need to do to become a success. And you could write your own ticket here, because that's the only thing, not only the U.S., but around the world respects. But always keep God abreast at everything you are doing. The only way it's going to work is through prayer, because this is a spiritual warfare matter. There are always going to be countries like Israel who pretend to be down with God. They'll use God in everything they do. They'll say they're killing people in God's name because these people are evil, and they're lying. As my mother said, a big dog will holler. And one of the things that's happening today is that people who know they full of shit are calling everybody else the same things that they are, just to devoid your mind away from them. It's the most horrific new way of attacking, is that evil tries to say everyone else is evil. It ain't gonna work. We see right through it. And as I said, insanity is contagious. Hey, this your boy OMD, Old Man Dex, Dex 300, Doc Savage and Man of Bronze, episode 127. I love y'all. Stay vigilant. Keep doing what you need to do, and everything will be all right. Corner Store Podcast. Y'all have a good one. Peace.